Hi, and welcome to episode 7 of the Corporate Show with me, Manjeet, Nijjer, your host. This week, we are going to talk about all things Prince 2. I'm going to introduce you to somebody who knows everything about Prince 2 inside out. Amazing trainer, wonderful friend, and more importantly, my sister-in-law. And also, not just that, if it hadn't been for this particular person, then I really wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. She encouraged me to become a service management trainer after years of being in service management and delivering the frameworks and so on that I'm so used to delivering as training modules now. So Narinder, I have a lot to thank you for. So Narinder is, as I said, Prince 2 trainer. So I'm going to hand you over to her so she can tell you a little bit about herself. So Narinder, welcome.
Hi, thank you very much for having me on your corporate show. It's an absolute pleasure. Yes, I am Manjeet's sister-in-law first and foremost, and I'm really happy that she's doing something she's really passionate about. So thank you for having me on, because I'm very passionate about Prince 2 and projects, as you know. So a little bit about me. My background is project change and agile management, anything to do with project management and control, I'm there. Prince 2 stands for Projects in a Controlled Environment, and Manjeet can tell you I am a control freak. When I organise anything, it's done as a Prince 2 project from start to finish, be it a holiday, be it an extension, be it painting a room, anything. Anything that has a budget and time associated to it, I'll use Prince 2.
Yeah, you organised my surprise 50th holiday for us two and Sonia to go on down to military precision. I had no idea what was going on. You just use the whole framework for that, which I think is commendable that you've taken it from a work environment and put it into your home environment as well.
Well, I think that's one of the misconceptions a lot of people have, is that they think project management just belongs at work. And actually, that's so far from the truth. Project management is anything that you're doing that's delivering a change, be it in your house, be it at work, be it in your garden. Anything that you're associating a budget and timescale to that is out of the ordinary is a project. And I always say to people, why is it only organisations should benefit from good project management? Why can't you benefit from it as well? So I make sure that we apply it to everything in our life. I mean, I think my kids are probably Prince 2 trained without even knowing it, because I think it's important that they understand that things need to be done in a particular way. We want to make sure we stick to our budget and that we deliver benefits. Otherwise, why are we investing this time and money? It's just a waste.
So what does it actually allow organisations to do and individuals? I can go in a little bit more detail from what you've just said. Now, how does it help you to move forward?
Okay, so Prince 2 is a structure, it's a methodology that can be used by all organisations, doesn't matter what they do, whether they're in a local authority or whether they work for a corporate organisation such as banking. The idea is that whenever we're looking to introduce change, be it I want to do a system upgrade, or maybe I want to introduce a new process, we want to do it in an orderly fashion. We want to make sure that business as usual isn't impacted too much, because at the end of the day, we need to remember they're the ones bringing in the revenue. So things like Prince 2 and the methodology allow you to bring in a process, a structure, and it's about roles and responsibilities, knowing what they're going to deliver. It's about scoping things properly, making sure everybody's singing off the right hymn sheet. What we don't want is somebody doing one thing and the other hand not knowing what they're doing.
I think that happens quite a lot in organisations, in my experience, certainly from a service management perspective. You know, one of my biggest bugbears when I was out there, you know, in the working world, because I don't call this work because it's something I love to do. When I was out there in the working world, was that as a service manager, I was like, here's a project, we've done our bit, see you later, bye, gone.
Yeah,
Absolutely, being pulled in the last minute once it's gone live, it's like, okay, so now you want me to run with this and pick this up. So
yeah, so one of the things that we like to do in Prince 2 is say, remember that at the end of the project you are going to be handing it over. And that's where the change management side comes in as well. So I'm a change manager as well, so the two marry really, really well. They're a match made in heaven. And the idea is that when we're handing over to BAU at the end, they should know right from the beginning of when you started the project that we were going to be handing something new over to them. They should have been involved in that project from day one from a user point of view. So it's not a shock to their system. We want to make sure that when we hand it over, that they actually make use of whatever it is we give them so that the benefits can be realised. Because if we're not doing that, then we've wasted time and money on something that nobody's using. And if it was my business, I'd be pretty hacked off. I want to know that I'm going to get a return on my investment by making sure that whatever I'm giving the business is of value, of use, and that they can actually put it into practice and maybe save some money or increase productivity. There's got to be something associated to it. Otherwise, why are we doing it?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And this is where you and I actually work really well together, because we're at either ends of delivery, really, because you're pre-delivery, so to speak, getting it all going, doing the requirements gathering and so on. And what I actually like about from your explanation is that it's really important for project managers, whoever they may be, to actually talk to BAU to understand their requirements as well before putting a project together, so that you've understood what our life is going to be like and our requirements once you've finished and off you go.
Yeah, and I often say to my delegates that I remember what it was like being BAU and having the project thrown at me, because I was on the receiving end at the start of my career before I moved on to the other side. I never had anything good to say about project managers or the way that projects were delivered. But then once I moved into projects, I realised, hang on a second, there's a bit of fault on both sides. No one side is more to blame than the other. But the key thing is communication, making sure that we're communicating, that we're telling them what we're doing, we're keeping them involved. No one likes change to happen to them. What they want to do is be part of the change. They want to be part of that project. They want to feel that they contributed to it. They being the business, and often we don't. We put a clear divide down the middle and say, you are the business, we are the project, we do our bit, you wait until we give it to you. And actually, that's an old way of working. Prince 2 doesn't encourage that at all. Prince 2 says, get them involved, find out what their wants and needs are. And then, you shouldn't have a problem handing over to them at the end.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the biggest things that's missing in any organisation, and even in families, if you think about it, is communication. It's having the right communication in place, knowing who to talk to, when to talk to them, the way to even talk to them as well. So from a project management perspective, what are your communication kind of like skills, frameworks, I don't know, even check sheets that you're using to, how are you communicating out with everybody else?
So one of the things that we do in Prince 2 is we create what we call management strategies or management approaches. The terminology changes every so often. But the essential part of these strategies, these approaches, is to clearly document how we're going to do things. And we actually have these risks, how we're going to do our risk management, how we're going to communicate on it, same for quality, same for change. And then we actually have one dedicated to communication. So we have a communications management approach, and in that we will identify who all the stakeholders are, we'll think about how we want to communicate with them, we'll ask them what their wants and needs are, we'll also look at, do we need information from different parts of the business? Because we talk about bi-directional flow in Prince 2, and that's two-way. Communication can't just be one way. We're not communicating then, we're telling people. There's a difference. Communication should be a conversation between two parties. So sometimes we're going to need to be updated on what's happening in the business, and we're in this bubble within this project. We don't necessarily see what's going on in the wider picture of this organisation. So the idea is that we build this communications management approach, and we clearly identify who we're going to be speaking to, the frequency, the means, the method, all of that is within that approach. That forms part of what we call the project initiation documentation. That's like the Bible of the project, it's got everything in it. And if I, as a project manager, aren't around, then one of my team can pick that up, they can see what's been agreed, and they can make sure that the comms happens. And I think that's really key, because if we don't write things down, a lot of people say, oh, we spend too much time writing. It doesn't have to be written, but the value is that when it is written down, anybody can pick up and work with it. If I'm walking around with it up here, and I've left, it's gone with me out that door. And I think sharing information and knowledge, learning from those lessons, making sure that we look back at the end of the project to see, did the comms work? Could we have done something better? Can we share that with the next project? If we don't write that down, nothing's going to come of it.
Yeah, that's actually quite key, that lessons learned at the end of it, because again, in my past experience, prior to moving into the training world, was that the lessons learned were documented, but they then fell into this big black hole called archive.
Yeah.
And nobody ever went in to pull those things out again. Actually, it's really important to revisit those lessons learned, because it's not just about what went wrong, it's also about what went well.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think one of the things that I'm very passionate about is that lessons learned shouldn't just be about what the project has learned, it's also about individuals. Those people on that project, it might be their first ever project. I encourage my team to always keep a little diary of what they're learning on a day-to-day basis, because at the end of the day, when you run a project, it's all about learning. No one project is the same as another. They're all very, very different. And I can hand on heart say, put me on a project, I learn something new every time. And what I don't want to do is lose that. So I always keep a little diary, keep a note of things that I'm learning. And it's a way of reflecting, because that's how we improve. And we know that all organisations want quality management. They want us to do improvement in what we do. And that relates to good quality as well. So the idea is that lessons learned shouldn't just be looked at the end. It should be a daily thing. I encourage everybody to do it every single day. Maybe when you're sitting on the train going home, just mull over your day. What did you do? What could you have done better? So that you can use that tomorrow. Don't leave it until the next project to learn that lesson. Learn it now.
Yeah, this is why there's lots of synergies between you and I, and probably one of the reasons why we get on so well, because there are a lot of similarities in the way that we both work. Bearing in mind what's going on at the moment with COVID-19 and everybody being asked to stay home for obvious reasons, how has that impacted you as an individual and the training that you're delivering? How has that changed your world?
So as an individual, it's changed because I'm now at home. And I'm spending more quality time with the family. We call it quality time. I'm sure everybody's going to relate when they say that, when I say that there are times I want to run out that door and just get back to it. Having said that, I have done some work from home. I've done a few courses online virtually, and they've been really, really well received. And I think the world has changed. I think we need to accept the world is changing. And project management is going to really take off once we're back in the workplace. Let me explain why. When we go back, every organisation is going to have to put into practice what they've learned from this experience. The only way to do that is through projects. There are going to be projects coming at us left, right and centre. And all I can say to people is get those skills now. Now's the time to upskill. Because you're going to need that on your CVs when you go back to say, I can do this, I want to have a go at that project, I've got the skills to do it, I want to chomp at the bit and just get it done. And I think that's really important, because we are going to have to accept that project management is never going away. Whenever an organisation has to introduce change, it will use some kind of project management. Be it Prince2, be it any, they're all pretty much the same in those terms. But the key is project management is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And if anything, it's going to increase.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's the same with service delivery. It's not going anywhere. Once I keep calling it, when we're allowed out to play again, as I keep calling it, once we're allowed out to play again, it's going to be like all systems go. You know, organisations, you will continue to deliver your services, but the way you deliver is going to be very, very different. So I'm totally behind you on that one. If anybody needs any kind of training, do it now while you've got downtime, while you've been furloughed. Get online, learn stuff. I know from Narinder yourself, you actually published a blog recently on Excelos, on the Excelos website, which was really, really good, having read it. How did that come about, and what was it actually about, so that our viewers understand?
So it was actually, how did it come about? Actually, Michelle, somebody that you're going to be speaking to soon, contacted me and said, Excelos are looking for somebody to do a blog, and I wondered if you'd be interested. And I said, well, I'll give it a go. You know what I'm like, I kind of shy away from all public-y stuff. This is totally out of my comfort zone. But I thought, this is a good time to talk about virtual learning, the importance of learning and upskilling. And then
in the background. That's fine.
Upskilling and making sure that people really do understand the importance of getting the right skills before they go back after the world has changed. Because we've got this time now, and the blog's talking about utilising that time and understanding that this isn't a temporary thing that we're going through, this is here to stay. And the idea was to make people understand that you don't always have to be in a classroom to learn. A lot of people prefer classroom, and I get it, I prefer being in a classroom. Having said that though, having delivered some virtual classes from home, it didn't actually feel that different at all. Because I had people ringing me, speaking to me, we had video cam, we did virtual using Zoom. It didn't feel any different. I had a wall thing on the back where I was drawing stuff. I've got the facility to draw on my screen. So it shouldn't have felt any different. And the delegates actually said to me afterwards that that didn't actually feel any different. And if anything, it was more comfortable because we took regular breaks and we could go and make a cup of tea and I felt quite safe. I wasn't worried about my journey home and being on a packed train. And I think this is key. That's why I wanted to talk about the current climate as part of the blog, because it was my choice to choose the topic. And I really wanted to get to the audience and make them understand that it doesn't matter whether it's project management, change management, service delivery, it doesn't matter what you want to learn, now's the time to do it. And also understand that actually moving forward, virtual learning might be a better way of doing things if you want to put your health first.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be in a classroom with people, you don't have to be, there are options. And that's what we're here for. We're here to give you those options and to provide you with the learning, whether it be in a classroom or whether it be virtually.
Yeah, that's really informative. So if anybody wants to go read that blog, go onto the Axelos website, that's axelos.com, and go under Prince 2 and you'll see the blog written by Narinder. So Narinder, how do people get hold of you if they want to know, A, what more about Prince 2, B, maybe become a Prince 2 trainer, and just all things Prince 2 related? How do they get hold of you?
So they can come through you, or they can get in touch with me directly by email. My email address is nttc@hotmail.co.uk. And yeah, get in touch with me whichever way you prefer. You can go through and you can come directly through to me. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. There's lots of good accredited training organisations out there that I work with. I'm quite select about the ones that I work with. So yeah, if you're looking to do something, let me know and I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about Prince 2. I've certainly gained more of an insight into Prince 2. We've never actually had this kind of conversation before, which is strange because we've known each other, 12 years now.
Yeah.
12 years we've been like,
Best friends.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, so this is the first time, as I said, we've had this conversation, about Prince 2 and service management and how it actually all melds together. So thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you.
I know you're reviewing courseware and so on at the moment as well, so I really appreciate that. So thank you to everybody watching, and remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know about new episodes coming up, but also please do share with anybody who you think will find this useful as well. So thank you very much again for watching. Look out for next week's episode. You never know who might crop up. See you later.
Bye.